I want to talk to you today about how school is killing you, okay? Slowly killing you. And I really want to challenge your thinking here. So, for example, if I now pulled out a pack of cigarettes and I said, hey, Maddie, do you want a cigarette? Would that be acceptable? Why isn't that acceptable?
Because cigarettes damage your lungs and slowly kill you.
So it'd be irresponsible of me to be facilitating that damage to students.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into our topic of today. There's been a lot of research, and I'm going to talk about the good and the bad, but basically sitting is killing you. Okay, by sitting down for long periods of time, it is slowly killing you. There's been a lot of scientific research done on this. So the way I see this is, yeah, you know what, you do sit at home a lot, but as teachers, we have responsibility when you're in the school setting to lead by example. So if we're saying to you, no, have an active lifestyle, don't sit down too much at home, but we're going to make you sit for 5 or 6 hours at school, is that acceptable? Are we being really good role models, or are we just passing you ciggies? So with a quick search, you get a lot of imagery. So you're seeing this link between sitting and smoking. This is about 2015, just the start of last year. This got quite popular, quite a lot of studies coming out, and some of these have been going for 16 years. One of my favourite ones is the one in the top corner, Take the Extra Step, where they're talking about the sitting position. You shouldn't be sitting leaning forwards like that, stereotypical position when you're on your phone. You shouldn't be sitting upright. You should actually be leaning back. Hands up if you've ever been told off by a teacher for sitting back in your chair and relaxing or leaning. So basically, school's trying to kill you. Now, quick Google search on infographics, I found these. So let's look at some of these facts. If you're sitting down, you're virtually burning no calories. Electrical signals to your legs are blocked, they shut down. Your heart rate is going to drop significantly. Your good cholesterol drops by 20%. Your insulin effectivity drops as well. So you've got all these kinds of health problems that have been found. But that's a quick Google search. That's just infographics. Anybody can make those. Okay, a 10-year-old might have made those. Okay, a very talented 10-year-old. But they could have. So we've got to kind of be very credible with our sources. So what I did is I went to a couple of sites and I found a publishing by Mayo Clinic, never heard of them before. They're an organisation, so I don't know who sponsors them. But I went to Harvard Health Publications, so I think they're pretty kosher. And that's what they had to say. Have a quick read. So by sitting around for a lot of time, increased blood pressure, high blood sugar level, excess body fat, increased risk of death from cardiovascular diseases and cancer. That's awful. That's really, really bad. There's a lot of kind of this movement about stand-up desks. How many of you have ever heard of a stand-up desk? A couple of you? Do any of your parents have them at work? Okay, not so much. Speaking to quite a few students last year whose parents have those, they actually stand up now. I know in my office I work with a teacher who has a desk where she can change the height of it so she can stand up and work. Because she's been talking to a physio and they've said that's going to be a lot better for some of the issues that you're having. So, yeah, I don't know. There's all this research going on about how bad it is for your health, but nobody seems to be focusing on schools. No one seems to be focusing on school children. Why is that? Is that because we don't care? Or is that because we just don't want to take that on? It's just too much of a hornet's nest. Now, I've given you a tiny bit of evidence there. But I want to kind of unpack this in a kind of kinesthetic, you exploring way. So you've got a photo of just a random kid at the top there. The photo at the bottom is my son, Jackson. And we're all born to have this kind of perfect mechanics, this body mechanics, all of us. Every single one of us could perform a perfect squat as a child. But as we get older and older, we lose that. And it's got nothing to do with, oh, it's aging, your body changes and therefore you can't do that. Absolute rubbish. Look at Olympic lifters. When they catch a snatch, when they catch a clean at the bottom position, they look exactly like that. So I want to challenge you now. I'd like you just to stand up. It's a bit ironic that I'm getting you to sit down while you listen to me. And I just want to show you is sitting down compounding. So all of you should be able to, you might have to move to the side, all of you should just be able to simply squat down with your feet roughly facing parallel, not toes out, and you should be able to keep your weight completely on your heels. So you should be able to squat down and just sit like that, nice and comfortable. Yeah, girls, you might want to face the wall or something. Everybody should be able to sit there, really not back on the heels. If your feet are sticking out like that, bring your feet right in. You should be really comfortable in that position. Really feeling one.
Knee injury.
Okay, stand up. Oh, first thing, shouldn't be complaining and groaning on that, which is, I think, is quite bizarre. When you think about our ancestors, and that guy's not our ancestor, by the way, but like humans, hominids, that's the kind of position that would be adopted around the campfire after hunting, cooking, cleaning, that kind of position. And lots of cultures sit in that position, okay? Chinese notoriously, especially in kind of poverty-stricken areas, they just sit down like that, they don't use chairs. Okay, so that's kind of the first thing I want to mention. Second thing, to keep standing. I'd like you, just now, you're just going to bend over slightly like that, and you're going to just pinch, okay, the skin just below your pelvis. Just pinch that skin nice and tight. Grab the skin folds there. So everybody do that now. So look where your pockets are, where your pockets start, just grab there. You need to grab the skin, but bend first. Okay, some of you are grabbing here, you're not grabbing the actual skin. I need you to grab the skin just below your pelvic bones there. Look where my hands are, just grab there. Now, squeeze really tight so you've got the folds in your hand. And now, keep your hands nice and tight and just stand up. How's that feel? Sore? Guys, this is what worries me now. I've got my hands here, and some of you going, okay. And you're like, am I doing this right? It's really worrying. Look at my hands, watch my hands. There's my bell, I'm just putting them there, just where my pockets are there, and I'm bending over and I'm grabbing the actual, literally grabbing the skin folds there. So grabbing, I can still see you doing the Macarena. Right, so from there now, grabbing those skin folds, stand up. How does that feel? Does that feel tight there? Okay, but the reason why that feels tight is because you're stretching that out, you're stretching that skin out and it's pulling, and that's the same thing that happens to your hip flexors. So if you're sitting down all the time, your hip flexors get tighter and tighter, and that's why people get bad backs, for example. One of the biggest triggers of bad backs. Hands up if you know someone in your family who suffers from a bad back on the odd occasion. About 50%, that's ridiculous. Take a seat down, take a seat. So, final bits. A bit of a rebuttal here. So I did a bit more research, because I am the Incredible Hulk, and as I looked through, I found something from The Guardian where the University of College London had done a study for 16 years, and they were saying any stationary posture where energy expenditure is low may be detrimental to health, be it sitting or standing. So they're saying, oh, don't bother with standing, it's fine, just sitting down, standing up, it's the same thing. My issue with that is, I have never ever seen a middle school student, just if I've said you can stand up and work, I've never seen them standing like this. They're always moving about, okay? So that is completely irrelevant to me. If I'm allowing students to stand up in lessons and work, they're not going to be standing still. Okay, so completely write off that comment. The next one, fidgeting may help counteract the damage of sitting down all day. Hands up if your teacher has ever told you, or a member of staff has ever told you off for fidgeting in a lesson, whether it be clicking a pen or leaning back in your chair. Hands up. Do you see what I'm trying to say? We're trying to kill you as a system. Not individual teachers, but just as a system. So my question is, where's next? What do we do about that? Okay, there's only one thing you can do. Well, there's two things you can do. You can keep on dying, or you can stand up. You can stand up to that and tackle it. Try and work out, how can we change that? Whose responsibility is that? Because I guarantee, unless there's an intervention, we'll just keep on doing what we're doing. And in 30 or 40 years' time, we'll find out all this information about how schools have done so much damage. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.